Welcome back. Today I am going to be showing you how to make these chain bracelets with the center beaded bar, the list of tools and supplies that you're going to need. Okay, so first you're going to need a bead mat. You're also going to need a tape measure, tweezers, pliers. For your pliers, you're going to need, if possible, 2 pairs of flat nose pliers. When you're using jump rings and opening and closing things, it can be nice to have 2 pairs of pliers. So just 2 flat nose pliers and your round nose pliers and your flush cutters. Then for supplies, oh, you're going to also need your little measuring device. So if you are using a clothespin or maybe a ruler. Okay, so for supplies, you're going to need chain and eye pins. Now remember, the eye pins are the ones with the circle at one end. You're going to need beads, and you're also going to need jump rings and clasps. And I like to have the little plastic ear nuts to go on the end of my eye pin while I'm working on a design, while it's in progress. All right, I am going to move these beads out of the way. All right, so with this design, it is slightly different than this design. And the reason is because this bar is heavier than the rest of the bracelet, and because of physics, it goes to the bottom and it's always hanging on my wrist with the pretty part underneath, and it's hidden. And these two did the exact same thing. So I wanted to try to alleviate that from always being on the bottom, which I did with this one. And you can see that I've bent that bar just a little bit, and that allows it to lay on my wrist and lay flat, and it does turn, and it will turn on your wrist as you're wearing it. Let me close that. So sometimes you're going to have it look like this. Sometimes it might even look kind of like this. But your wrist is thicker than my finger, so it doesn't stick up like that. Okay, so it is going to turn on your wrist and it is going to move around, but I feel like that is as pretty as that. Okay, so that is my thinking on this design. So at some point I will alter this, and I will put some more links on the bottom here and some links here, and the same with this one. When I look at this one, and I kind of want to copy it because I want to make it complement, right? So I think that would be a good complement. So on here, this is 18 links, and it's a little bit loose, so I think for this other one I will go 16 links on that one and see how that turns out. So I want to show you how to roll these loops, and it's pretty much the same as how you roll your loops when you're doing the charm, the beaded charm. Okay, so let me move some of this stuff out of my way. Actually, I think I want that mat in there. All right, so I just took that little plastic bit off of there so I can work with this, and I'm going to move those tweezers before they poke me in the arm. All right, so you're going to get your round nose pliers, and oh, we got to measure it first. So I'm getting out my little measuring device, and I'm going to lay that on there. Then I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to come in between my marks. That's what has worked for me. Okay, and I'm going to snip that. Okay, My little scrappy piece went up inside and I just dumped that out. And now I am going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to come in and I'm going to grab that. No, I can still feel it, so I got to move it down just a bit. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to roll that loop. And I got to see that. And there you can see it's not quite done. So I'm going to roll that some more. There we go. Now I'm going to come on to the back side and I'm going to pop it. Okay. And I'm not going to worry about closing that really tight because I know that I am going to put something else on that in just a minute. So I'm just going to leave that kind of loose. Okay? All right, so now I'm ready to roll these 2 loops. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to lay it on my clothespin. I'm going to snip that off. I'm going to get my round nose pliers. I'm going to come in. I'm going to grab the end. Make sure I can't feel it. There we go. Now I'm going to roll that loop around. And I'm going to come on the back side and I'm going to pop that up. And that is my second link. And now I'm going to do the third one. And I'm just repeating this process over and over. So I come in, I lay my pin down, I get my flush cutters, I keep the flush side to the beads, and I snip that off. And now I get my round nose pliers, I grab that end, make sure I can't feel it, and I roll that around. And come on the back side and I pop it. Okay. All right. So there's my 3 different links that I'm going to put on my bracelet. And I feel like I have another little piece in there. Yep, sure do. And I'm just going to pick those up and set them aside. I just don't want to get stabbed with those. Okay, now we need some chain. And I'm just going to count out these links. So this was the end of a spool of chain, and I just looped it together and then put a twist tie on it. And that's coming out of the end of the bag, and then I just have my chain that comes out of the bag. Okay. And I'm going to count out 16 links on each side, and then I'm going to snip the 17th link on here. I'll snip that with my flush cutters, and then I will attach it here in the center. Then I'm going to put on a clasp and a couple of jump rings. And I'll attach the clasp with a jump ring, and then I'll have another clasp on the other end, or another jump ring on the other end. Okay, so I'm going to count out my chain, and I like to do this because this chain is so fine and delicate. I will get a head pin, and I literally have to touch each link, and then I will put it into the link before I'm going to cut. Okay, so I'm going to put that into the 16th link. this so you guys can see. Okay, so I've got this little piece. That's the piece I'm going to attach. And here I'm going to come in with my flat nose, or no, my flush cutter, sorry. And I'm going to clip that very next link. Okay. You may have heard that little click. Okay, so now my chain comes away, and I just want to make sure that I get that little clipped link out of there. So there it is, super tiny. So I just put that with my other trash, set it aside. Okay, so there's one piece. So now I got to do that a second time. Okay, now I'm getting my flush cutters again, going in, clipping that link. I don't know what happened to the cut link. That might still be on my chain, the end of my chain. I don't think it is. I don't know. Okay, it disappeared. All right. There is the next piece of chain. So now all I have to do is hook this all together. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my jump ring on that clasp, so that is laying there and ready to go. And now I'm going to, this is going to be the clasp side. So here is my link, and I'm just going to twist that open. Actually, I'm going to put the chain on there. Okay, and then I'm going to close this up. Now when I close this, I've got to close it really well because I've got this teeny tiny chain. So I'm actually going to see if I can get it to come out. And I can't seem to get it to come out. And I'm going to look at that really close. And I am going to make certain that there is absolutely no space for that to come out. Okay. All right, I feel like that's pretty secure. All right, this side I already have a jump ring, and my jump ring is already open. So now I'm going to slip that open jump ring through the loop. And now all I need to do is close this jump ring. I hope that's showing up on the camera. All right, and then I twist that until I feel the ends of my wire touching, which I do. Okay, now I'm going to attach the center piece, and I'm going to come in with my flat nose pliers, and I am going to twist open that loop. I'm going to slip the link of the chain into that open loop, and now I am going to close that loop. That's twisting on me. There we go. Now again, I've got to close that really tight so that I don't lose that chain. Okay, let's test it. See that? So I did not have that closed properly. So it's a really good idea to test your chain and make sure that your loop is really closed tight. Because I'd rather have it come apart now when I can fix it than when I'm wearing it and then I lose a piece. Okay, so now I'm coming in, yeah, there. And now the chain is not coming out. Still catching, ooh, wow. All right, I'm gonna come back in here. And I've got more of a teardrop than a circle, so that's part of my problem. So I'm going to come in here and see if I can get that end to turn better. There. All right. So now I've got my clasp and I've got 2 links on. Now I'm going to come to the end of this one and I'm going to twist that open. I'm going to put the chain on and twist it closed. And let's test that one. Yep, looks good. Okay, so here's my last link. I'm going to twist that loop open. I'm going to put my chain in. There we go. And now I'm going to twist that closed, and I'm going to make sure that that's really tight and looks good. Now all I've got to do is put this jump ring on this end. And now I'm going to close this jump ring. Make sure those 2 rub. And there you go. There's the complement to the blue one. Okay. All right. That's it. Hey, I just wanted to quickly show you how these 2 bracelets turned out. I'm super pleased. I think they look awesome. I will probably wear them something like this. Where's my, there we go. And when they spin around, I'm not even going to worry about it. It's just gonna, I think it's going to be awesome. So there you go. Thought you might want to see.